Okay, everything seems to be in working order. Welcome everybody to another episode of Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, and we left off last time in a really intense moment, if you remember. We were in the middle of a trial, and today we're gonna see if we can conclude that with a verdict that obviously benefits us. But hey, there's only one way to know how that's gonna go, and that's by going through it, of course. So, without further ado, how about we jump right in? Hello Sumi, how's my favorite puzzle panda? Hey Jasmine, glad to see you. You arrived just in time. I just opened the game. I am doing okay. Hopefully you are doing okay too, my friend. Hey Sho, welcome to the stream as well. Everything seems to be arriving at the most punctual time. We're just getting the preview from the previous episode where we were acing the trial. I've been playing Ace Attorney as well lately. I noticed. Hopefully those streams have been going well, my friend. It seems we're both in a problem-solving type mood, you could say. When is the collab happening is what some people may ask. They arrested Espela and dragged her to the courthouse under suspicion of being one of those witches they mentioned. And if she's found guilty, oh, you know, they'll throw her into a pit of fire. They're joking, right? I'm doing well. Recently finished my final project in my coding course, and I've been working on programming a little game as a personal project. Just a simple little numbers game. I hope that goes amazingly. Hey Blaze, it's panda time indeed. Ain't a bad idea. It's not a bad idea at all. For, you know, I am much more familiar with the Professor Layton side of things, and you're more familiar with the Ace Attorney side. So we both would complement each other pretty well if we ended up doing a collab. But without further ado, how about we continue with that trial, shall we? Well then. We will now continue with the trial of Espela Cantavella. For those who don't remember, we were on trial trying to protect Espela because she was being accused of being a witch, of course. Which she might be, but Phoenix Wright doesn't know that just yet. So, we'll see how that goes. And this seems like a bizarre crossover indeed. Oh my god, even Phoenix Wright is overwhelmed. Oh boy. So, I have a question for the Phoenix Wright fans in the audience. Because you're of course much more familiar with these characters. How do you feel about the portrayals of them so far? From I guess history and also aesthetic type deal. Because I don't know, I'm not sure if this is the first time these characters have been in 3D. Accurate, to be honest? Okay, good. Because from my perspective when it comes to Layton, I think they nailed their portrayal in this crossover. They act like they're supposed to. That is literally how Phoenix is. Okay, good. Because, you know, when it comes to like crossovers and other people handling other people's characters, some things can be lost in translation. I'm a Kamen Rider fan. I've seen flanderized versions of characters that I love way too many times. Anyway. A group of witnesses huddling up before a joint testimony in a witch trial. You can make this stuff up. Inquisitor Barham, if I may ask you a question. Yes, my lord. Well, we now have 5 witnesses on stand, so I must ask. Why was this obnoxious-looking man left out of your initial group of witnesses? Drinking from the infinite beer cup, I guess. Baldy's right, Barham. Now I know how you feel when you read all these lines. Now you understand. Now you understand. A word of advice, if you're ever gonna play a game on stream that has a lot of reading, have yourself a water bottle nearby. You are gonna need it if you're gonna start doing some voice acting for these things. It's a lot of work, especially when you're going the extra mile to VA them all. And that is true. Now you understand, friend show. I have multiple water bottles, actually. This is really funny because I recently got someone for G3 IRL. Really now? Baldi's right, Warnham. That's just cold-blooded. There is but one reason, my lord. I did not know this witness even existed. Oh? You, sir, failed to come forward. When we were asking for witnesses for this very trial, you were nowhere to be seen. That's because I didn't hear a peep about it. I usually, it ain't usually around at night, except for maybe Roast Tavern. So you're basically telling us that you were up all night drinking. Anyway, it's all water under the bridge now, as far as I'm concerned. Just leave the rest to yours truly. During the last interrogation, the defender brought forward some surprising proof. Namely, that there was little possibility that the accused could have used magic. I have never heard such a claim. It must be the doing of this logic. And, folks, right here in front of you is another fantastic screenshot potential. What rubbish! Logic, you say? I ain't got a clue what that is. But I do know that this beard baking baker ought to head back to the bakery. Eloquently said. Oi, Grumps, give me and partners over here a chance to speak. You wanna know how this witch managed to be holding that scepter, don't you? Oh, when you say Gramps, you wouldn't mean me, would you? I fail to see anyone else meeting such a description. Well, we'll show you she's a witch. I bet Snowy's beautiful coat on it. A guard. Look at this team of 5 goofballs. It's like the Power Rangers. If they were all freaking dummies. So dumb, brothers. Alright, team. Let's do this. Witnesses? This is a Sentai team of goofballs, I see. Yeah, well, let's proceed with the testimonies. Why do I feel like I've totally lost control of this situation? Objection, dumbass. You absolute failure. Your garbage excuse of a hypothesis is fucking wrong. Me and the gun when we're trying to get a girl sentenced to death by a fire pit. Sheesh. The mystery of a witch's scepter. It's clear as day. Espella is a witch. We're not backing down from this. Ghost and Guns, what did I miss? Absolutely nothing. More goofballs. When she dropped the lantern, the scepter was not yet in her hands. The scepter must have been hidden by magic and carried on her back. The rogues grabbed her by the hand and held the lantern, so she must have had another way of holding that scepter. That's easy. The girl just put the bucket down on the ground and picked up the witch magic stick. So she had the witch scepter behind her back. She then dropped the lantern and reached for the scepter after it fell. That kind of doesn't make any sense, but hey, we're here to disprove that. If that is the case, then it must have been possible for the accused to have used magic. This is bad. I shot my entire cravat up her ass because it's wrong. Why? Well, if you could take a look at this motherfucking the updated autopsy report. Thanks to this guy, now all the witnesses seem extra determined to pin the thing on Espella. They each harbor a shared anger towards witches and magic. Such is the cause of this strong desire to see a guilty verdict passed as quickly as possible. However, such confidence is undoubtedly bound to cloud their better judgment and thinking. Yeah, you're right. I don't think these guys mean any real harm, but they're all riled up and don't even realize how distorted their idea of what happened tonight has become. At least that's how it seems. This is good, Professor. The witnesses aren't thinking straight. They're completely blind to the truth. Sir Baker? Rather, Sir Wright. Yes? You do not appear to be a mere simple baker, that much is clear. On the other hand, you are no ordinary defendant either.
No.
Never before has a defender managed to clash and do battle with me here on this battlefield as an equal. Sir Blue Knight, this trial has not yet been decided. If there are any doubts in your interrogation, I would not hesitate to strike your case down where it stands. I understand. Defender, please begin your interrogation. Will do. Okay. The one statement. The one statement that caught my attention here when I was reading it. That right here. That's easy. The girl just put the bucket down on the ground and picked up the witch's set magic stick. Okay. Miles Edgeworth is the only normal prosecutor, is he? I guess I'll find out at some point. A milk bucket this fellow was carrying at the time of the crime. If you can even see it in the in the drawing. Okay.
Objection!
I'm afraid what really happened is not quite so simple. What you talking about? It had only just stopped raining moments before the crime took place. As a result, the ground was very muddy, as you may remember from the lantern being covered in mud, which nor the scepter nor the bucket have traces of mud anywhere in them. Hence, they were not placed in the ground. If Miss Cantabella really placed the bucket on the ground as like you claim she did, then it should be caked in mud, just like the lantern was after it fell. Well, I see that clears up your muddy testimony, wouldn't you? Hey Burnham! What? You're just gonna sit there looking pretty? Come on, give me a hand here. Flattery will get you nowhere, witness. Other than perhaps to the dungeon. At any rate, there is but one question we ought to ask. Why is there no mud on that bucket? To the witness with the goat, may I ask you a question? Huh? Are you talking to us? Indeed. You admitted to the court that you returned home with a milk bucket. Illegally, I must add. Oh my. Such harsh words, Inquisitor. When you took the bucket home, you must have simply wiped the mud from the bucket, is that correct? I see. I feel like all of the witnesses are fighting each other with their testimonies at this point. They are completely unorganized, which makes things easier for ourselves, honestly. You know, now that you mentioned it, illegal milk. No way, don't tell me. That milk bucket. That's right, I remember now. I don't know if what was on the bucket was mud exactly, but it certainly was dirty. Before taking it inside with me, I remember wiping it clean with an old rag. Are you kidding me? Exceptional work, Inquisitor Barnham. Right. It makes perfect sense, see? We were right all along, weren't we, Inquisitor Barnham? I knew that sorry weren't just for show, Barnham. You sliced his argument in two.
Objection!
Witness, Miss Murray. What is it? You're absolutely sure there was mud stuck to this milk bucket? Oh my, well, truth be told, I don't remember whether it was mud exactly, but I do remember cleaning the bucket off when I got home. Ugh. I wonder how popular a Barnham X Some Guy fanfic would be. They seem to have some sparks with the looking pretty comment. That would be pretty interesting to see, I guess. It would seem. The defense has failed to disprove the witness's claim. Of that, we can be quite certain. That'll teach her, Bluey. You got that right. Do me a favor, will you, Grams? I want to change my testimony just a bit. Change your testimony? I will allow it only if the witness refrains from name-calling in the future. You got it, my lord. Well, at least Court Mumbo Jumbo has left me thirstier than a dog in a desert. I don't think I need to read this. Okay. That witch there was holding the stick. I even heard her say the incantation thing. That's right, I witnessed it all. Really now? Because a minute ago you said you didn't hear a thing. Plus, we have this proof that she was holding it, because she was holding the lantern with one hand and the milk bucket in the other, and the other witnesses are even testifying that the stuff might have been invisible, might have been hidden, or even on her back. So you're gonna have to clarify that, mister.
Hold it!
But no one knows for sure if Miss Cantabella dropped the milk bucket on the ground. Pressure is so well and good, but don't be rude. Don't ever underestimate Nick. Because there is no mud on it, is that what you're saying? Hey, we went over this already. We know the good lady wiped off all the mud.
Objection!
However, Miss Mary doesn't clearly remember whether or not it was mud that was stuck on the bucket. We really don't remember, but maybe? I guess maybe there was mud on it. I mean, she couldn't hold the scepter without putting the bucket on the ground. Miss Mary, please give a definitive answer. You all dumb, Bluey? Talk all you want, because it ain't gonna help you, you see? The five of us, we saw that witch were... Oh? Did you hear that? Are you okay?
Hang on!
Excuse me, mister? Earth to Gramps. Defender, when you say Gramps, might you, by any chance, be referring to me? No, of course not, Your Honor. Mr. Wordsmith, are you listening? I heard you quite clearly. The first time, young man. He's high as a kite. This year's here well. The crackling of the fire, the whispering of the crowd, and now your voice. If that's the case, then allow me to ask you a question. You are clearly deep in thought just now. Do you have something to say about this man's testimony? Indeed so. I felt something was amiss. However, what that means I cannot say. Amiss? Witness, could you tell us what precisely was amiss with this third-rate testimony from this third-rate witness? I did. I felt it was appropriate. I feel it was incredibly appropriate for these streams. So now I can join in the action, I guess, with multiple poses. Also, a Kaiba reference for the Yu-Gi-Oh audience. What a burn, Barnham. 5 heads are better than 1. 10 eyeballs are better than 2. As I listened to this man's testimony, I could not help but become aware of something most odd. Tonight, when the crime occurred, we all made haste to that terrible scene. The delicious scent of meat even in dinner permeated through the air. The shadows of those present cast through the dim light. Huh? I thought you would be above cheating, but as it turns out, we have definitive proof this stream is rigged? What show you mean? Am I on trial now? Because you rigged the model? I get it. I would like to have more poses though. Another thinking one perhaps. For I do a lot of thinking, especially in these streams. And yet there were but 4 figures standing in that vicinity, myself included. 4? Hold on 1 second. 4? You're saying that there were only 4 witnesses at the crime scene tonight? Red-handed. These eyes might be old, but they know what they saw. Is something the matter, Miss Mary? No, it's just that Snow and I are trying to remember what happened at the time. I remember the flames erupting into the air. That's when Snow and I had made our mad dash to save the precious milk. And when those 2 ruffians were set ablaze, the flame filled the area with light. In that sudden flash of light, we could see that there were other people around besides ourselves. And that's when I saw them, the other people that scrambled to the scene along with us. I'm quite sure of it. There were only 4 of us there at the scene of the crime.
Objection!
Hold it, madam. What in blazes is going on? We have 5 witnesses on the stand, all claiming to have witnessed tonight's events firsthand. That means we have what witness too many? Don't be stupid. Oi, you lot better stop speaking out of turn. All for one and one for all, remember? We all promised to take this fetch down together, didn't we? The more you speak, the more your testimony crumbles to bits. It's not quite that simple. We saw what we saw. Well, I say it's all about the numbers, and I counted, I say. have you know my counting is flawless. On nights when sleep eludes me, I can count sheep from moonrise to sunrise. 4 witnesses, 5 witnesses, what difference does it make? Things all started getting muddled when you showed up. What the? You saying it's my fault? What? I was there, you fool. Didn't I just finish saying that? My testimony is strong as steel, even if it's not completely stainless. Order, order, I said order. Ah, me too, Chief, I'm starving. I didn't know this was a food court. What's going on here? You claim the number of witnesses does not add up? I have never paid witness to such an outrageous conflict. Layton had enough of this nonsense. Maggie, the only court you belong to is in a kangaroo court. Some guy knows a thing. It's amazing that they just let this guy in without even saying his name. There is but one answer to this puzzle. A single possibility. What do you mean? Without a doubt, magic must have been used at the scene of the crime. Furthermore, it would indeed appear that there were only 4 witnesses present at the scene. And yet, currently we have faced with 5 witnesses testifying to the court. That certainly is quite a fatal contradiction, with only one possible answer. Would you not agree, Mr. Wright? The answer, it can't be. Well, I would this supposed answer, Sir Blue Knight. What is your explanation for the current number of witnesses? They didn't say things correctly. The witch cast a spell on them. One of them is the witch. Perhaps one of them is the one that casted the spell to incriminate Stella. Stella is absolutely framed here. While it might seem far-fetched, the reality is actually rather simple. The real witch, and the real murderer in this case, is actually one of these 5 witnesses. What? What? You're telling us that the witch is amongst this group of witnesses? What other rubbish! There is no possible way that such claim could be true. That's right. You got a lot of nerve because one of us have been the witch. I have told you nothing but the truth, and yet you still have the gall to butter on such an outrageous accusation. Behold, behold, as my trusty shield deflects your petty words like the petty words that they are. Inquisitor Barham. So that automatically cuts down to 2 possible suspects. Yes, my lord. I would like to see a sketch of the crime scene at the time of the incident. Do you have one in your possession? Yes, certainly, my lord. I have one here. I'll request it from the recording illustrator, just in case. Very well. Witnesses. I would like each of you to mark your location at the scene of the murder. Here, on this crime sketch. Quickly now. The number of witnesses doesn't add up. It looks like we're getting somewhere now, but we haven't even scratched the surface of this case yet. And it's all thanks to this top hat-wearing gentleman. The court accepts this crime scene sketch into the evidence. Maya was right there in the next to Luke and Layton. Which still has, like, a really uncanny feel considering the different art styles. Personally, I could gotten used to it. I don't think it's that bad. I would still prefer a unified art style personally, but not much use complaining about it at this point, I guess. That could only mean one thing. Somebody here isn't telling the truth. That would indeed appear to be the case, Mr. Wright. Listen, well, Sir Blue Knight, the path you tread now is a dangerous one. Claiming that a witch is among these most honorable witnesses is a serious accusation, should it prove to be a false one. You will find yourself at the other end of my sword. Do I make myself clear? Huh? But that wasn't so much my suggestion. I mean, the gentleman here with the lovely top hat was the one who urged me to say in it. It is the same thing, Sir Blue Knight. Indeed, it is the same thing, Sir Baker. It is the same thing, Mr. Wright. Oh boy. Now, ready your sword. Ready? Were you listening? You claim that the witch is not the accused and that someone else at the crime scene was the true culprit. If what you say is true, then you surely can tell the court exactly where this person was at the time of the crime. Can you not? Come now, Sir Blue Knight. Only you can enlighten us as to who this witch really is. Sir Doughty Defender, show us where the witch was at the exact moment that the murder took place. Okay. The Mirror. Vanishing spell. Causes anything that the caster touches to vanish from sight. Simply chant a mirror to make it reappear. Summons a circle of flame within a 1 meter center. Requires an incantation and a scepter to cast. So maybe... What if the witch was hiding in plain sight? Could be anywhere. Okay. There was the claim that there were 2 spells used in here. What if... We love Maya in this house. I haven't seen too much of her so far, but she seems nice.
Got it! Objection!
What is the meaning of this? Unfortunately for you, the spot has absolutely nothing to do with these witnesses.
Objection!
Inquisitor Barham, I suggest you try taking a look at this. The Grimoire? According to this tome, Ignace summons a circle of flame with a 1 meter radius of the caster. In other words, the witch had had to be within 1 meter of the flame when casting the spell.
Objection!
Of course, you didn't say any more, Mr. Blue Knight. First off, notice that there is no one else in the area other than the accused. It should also be quite obvious from the sketch that there are clearly nowhere for anyone to hide.
Objection!
True, there aren't any hiding spots. However, you may want to look at the second spell in that book. There is one other possibility if a witch wanted to stay hidden from sight. Most intriguing. Since you seem to love showing evidence, prove it. How was the witch able to hide in plain sight? And it's right here.
Take that!
This Thalia Magica contains 2 magic gems. Ignace and the other spell. That's right, the spell the mirror. The mirror. It cannot be! That's right. There was most certainly a witch present at the crime scene, only they were completely invisible. All thanks to the magic spell the mirror. What foolishness is this? Order in the court! Defender, what are you getting at? I thought the witch used the mirror to make the Thalia Magica disappear.
Objection!
According to the Grand Rumor, under the entry for the mirror, it causes anything the caster touches to vanish from sight. In other words, supposing the witch were holding the staff in one hand while touching part of their body with the other, they would be able to make themselves disappear. Are you implying that the reason for the conflict of number of witnesses? Indeed it is, which means witnesses. Someone amongst you is not disclosing the entire truth, and that person is the witch we seek. I believe this is the most probable scenario. Honorable witnesses, you will testify to the court one final time. The only question left is, which? I get it. I get it. I don't get it. Tell us exactly what you saw and what did you not see at the scene of the crime. How absurdly absurd! The purpose of the trial is to convict that girl of the crime, is it not? It's one of the 2 ladies, unless Radlocks are a thing in this game. I guess we'll see. But first, some water. Much better. Remember to stay hydrated. Well, doing a stream. That's right, we were not witches. Witnesses, I ask that you listen. There is a witch mangling among you. That's right, I'm afraid you are all no longer brothers in arms. The true opponent here is within your own group. The real witch is one of these 5 witnesses, huh? Fine by me. Tend to put an end to this trial. Witness testimonies. You wish to know where we all were standing tonight? It matters not, when the flames not burn just the same. The flame? I never saw anything like it. It quite literally left me speechless. I couldn't even so much as scream. I heard the tiniest cry, and then when I turned around, the bladders were roasting, so I rushed right over. I heard the incantation and the flame suddenly erupted. I'm certain of it. I only saw 3 people there with us. As I said, there were only 3 other present, like that man there, who was stumbling around like a newborn calf. I guess we'll find out. A most heinous act indeed. No small wonder these witnesses are all so confused. A witch among them, the witnesses. What an utterly baseless claim. I don't think so, Barham. Their only baseless claims in this case is of Spella being a witch. It's more than a little likely that these witnesses is the culprit. These testimonies are bound to tell me who the real witch is. You wish to know where we all were at standing tonight. The matter's none, but the flames not purchased the same. True. That flame! I never saw anything like it. So it literally left me speechless. I couldn't even so much as scream. That is an interesting one. I heard the tiniest cry, and then I turned around. The blares there were roasting, so I rushed right over. I heard the incantation, the flames suddenly erupted and certain of it. I only saw 3 people there with us. As I said, there were only 3 others present, like that man there who was stumbling around like a newborn calf. Okay. So you saw... So you saw someone else there. It would be helpful if the other ones could point who did they saw right there. I want to know more about that, actually.
Hold it!
So, including yourself, there were a total of 4 witnesses at the crime scene, correct? That is how it has come to pass. By the way, what do you mean by stumbling around like a newborn calf? Exactly, that's where I'm getting at, show. Ah yes, that was a man as in any rate as he was loud. Quite the humorous sight it was, dare I say. He must mean the witness permanently glued to his cup of whatever he is drinking. When I saw the flames rise up into the sky, I wondered to myself, my word, whatever could that be? However, I could not simply walk over to check. My knees were a bit weak from the shock, you see. That's when the... Are you okay there? Is there something you want to say?
Hang on!
Is something the matter, mister? Huh. Mister! Tone on your volume, boy. That's my line. Sir Blue-Eyed, next time please think before trying to press this witness. Looks like this guy even managed to scare Barham half to death. Now then, sir, about Mr. Wordsmith's testimony just now. He claimed you were stumbling around. What does he mean by that? I'm going to set the record straight right now. In no way was I stumbling around anywhere. I'd like to think it more like staggering with style. A responsible adult should know better than to go stumbling around in the dead of night. Hey, look, I don't just go stumbling around like some clumsy idiot. I got more sense than that. But anyway, I think I tripped over a large stone. I mean, you don't exactly see what's on the ground from in front of you when you're running a full pelt, right? So, You could say I put my life out on the line, proving that you really need to watch where you're going when you run. How courageous of you. Someone give this guy a medal. My lord, this testimony is a meaningless waste of everyone's time. Well, Defender, is there a point to this particular line of questioning? Is there anything worth pursuing here? What should I do? I want to know more. I want to know more what happened that night. The witness stated earlier that he tripped over a large stone. Mister, I have one question for you. Why weren't you watching what was in front of you? Well, to be honest with you, it ain't much of a real reason, but something suddenly caught my attention out of nowhere. I suddenly heard someone call out my name. You heard your name? Of course it turned out, and when I heard it, who wouldn't? When a woman calls your name, you pay attention, am I right? So, you heard someone call out, "Hey, you," from behind, you mean? What? I said they call out my name. How many guys you know who are called "Hey, you"? My name is Emir. Emir. Don't you forget it, Floyd, you hear me? Okay. Huh. So, this so-called... Yeah, oh my, okay. Huh. It's all clicking. It's all clicking into place now. Oh yeah, it's all coming together now. I must say this gentleman really does not strike me as an Emir. You know, Professor, it's not a very memorable name, huh? That's harsh. Honorable witness, is there anyone among you who was aware of this man's name prior to now? Not at all. He always has just been Mr. to me. A knight's name is only as good as the name of the sword he carries. It is the first I heard of this. I dare say I did not expect his name to be one such as Emir. I'm sorry, but I didn't know his name either. I only remember the names of my most loyal customers. Okay, it looks like absolutely no one knew this witness name. You know, it ain't really much of a surprise to me either. But seriously, I definitely heard someone call my name. When you get to be my age, you really start to wonder when you'll find that true love, you know? I thought that pretty voice tonight might have been me sweetie. I would also like a dialogue box with an ellipsis. Your Honor, I don't believe we should be quick to label Mr. Emir's testimony as meaningless, wouldn't you agree? I request that the witness add this a music anecdote to the testimony. Understood. Witness, amend your testimony, but please reflect only the important points of your story. I'm telling you, I heard someone call me name, and I was looking around trying to find them. I hurried to the scene, but then they ended up tripping when I heard someone call me name from behind. Tell me more about that.
Hold it!
Excuse me, Miss. I mean, Emir. Don't sweat it, Blue. Mr. AU, it's all the same to me. You stated that you heard your name being called from behind. Are you absolutely sure about that? Well, right or wrong, it sure sounded like my name. I mean, what else could it have been? I wouldn't have remembered if it happened if I hadn't heard something, right? Still. Maybe there's a chance to just imagine it, huh? But anyway, I remember it came from somewhere behind me. From somewhere behind you. Huh. It's Kira. Amir's memory isn't the most accurate, but if what he says is true, then there's definitely something there. Something, you say? Might you mean a contradiction? Yeah, I think so. Although, I don't know, there's just something strange about his testimony. I don't see any decisive evidence in the court record that can help. Do you mean to say you found a contradiction that cannot be supported by the evidence?
Objection!
Milord, this line of interrogation is a complete waste of the court's time. Defender, I must warn you, from here on, any unnecessary questioning will be dealt with accordingly. If I don't answer correctly here, if it's curtains for the trial and for Isabella. If you are intent on finding a fault in this witness testimony, you will need to present decisive evidence to back these claims up. There's not one single piece of the decisive evidence in the court record. What do I do now? Mr. Wright? Mr. Layton! I have an idea. I believe there is a weapon of sorts with which you might be able to expose this contradiction without the need of evidence. A weapon? Now, defender, give us your answer. Yes, Your Honor. The defense finds that the witness testimony contains a clear contradiction. Your Honor, the defense believes that there's a huge contradiction in the witness testimony.
Objection!
I was actually gonna make a joke about Curious in the Notebook. Death Note. What is this? You must be an even bigger fool than I thought, Sir Blue Knight. You really do not possess even a sliver of common sense, do you?
Objection!
You know, you're in thin ice when Layton says objection and his theme song starts playing. Oh yeah, things are about to get real here. If I may interrupt for just a moment, Inquisitor Barnham, allow me to ask you this. What need is there for common sense in a world that forgoes using it? Accordingly, I must ask humbly that you discard such a matter of thinking. Wherever do you mean? You have my utmost thanks for placing your trust in me, Mr. Wright. Let us discuss the one remaining weapon in this cross-examination. The remaining weapon? It is kind of interesting that between the two protagonists, Layton and Phoenix, Layton just feels so much more prepared for absolutely everything. Without him, Phoenix would have lost already. Does that happen in the Phoenix Wright games usually? Is Phoenix... Okay. Because Layton is always... When it comes to like the style of protagonist here, Layton is the kind of protagonist that is always... he does get some help, okay. Because Layton is always 4 steps ahead of everybody. And that's what makes his character interesting, really. But he learns how to flip the case around to figure things out. Okay. I feel like Layton's intellect is on another level, really. So it's interesting to see the dynamic between Layton This game is just justifying Layton's presence. This show has taught us a valuable new technique to be used in the courtroom, has it not? Phoenix is not exactly a genius, he's more of an outside thinker. Once he gets into something, he does get the logic, okay. Phoenix's localized name is meant to represent how he always rises from the ashes. Phoenix's strength as a character is that he's always floundering, but you never know if he's gonna turn things around on a dime. Okay. You mean questioning, right, Professor? Indeed it is, look. Each of the witnesses in this trial has given their own account of what occurred. Therefore, whether one witness has testified, the other remaining witnesses have listened. That gives me an idea. In addition to catching a witness off guard and questioning them about another's testimony, there is one more thing. There's something else we can get from a 5-person cross-examination. That's right, of course. Indeed, Mr. Wright. Contradictions. Should one witness testimony different from another's testimony, then I suppose that in itself can also be considered a contradiction, can it not? Testimony contradicting testimony. I never would have thought of that until now. Enough! Sir Blue Knight, are you prepared to present the court evidence proving the contradiction within this witness testimony? The witness testimony does not contradict any evidence. It contradicts a testimony. What are you talking about? It is time, Mr. Wright. Have a look at the touchscreen. There you will see the testimony of the witnesses in question, as well as those other witnesses. Keep your eyes peeled and identify the contradicting testimony. Okay. Alright, let's give this another shot, Nick. And make sure you don't forget to take a look at the court record too. Basically, he'll dig himself into a pit and climb out again and again. Okay. Okay. You wish to know where all of the we're all standing tonight? Matters not. Would the flames not burn just the same? The flame, I never saw anything like it. It quite literally left me speechless. I couldn't even do so much as scream. That is impossible, Kira. For Emir here clearly heard a voice behind him. And the only one behind Emir is you. So you were not speechless.
Objection!
Double pointing? The person contradicting this man's testimony. The double pointing is none other than you, Miss Kira. Are you both pointing at me? Oh wait, we're still pointing. At the time of the incident, Denman heard someone's voice call his name. It is time. It is time. That voice belonged to you, Miss Kira. It could not have been anyone else. And yet, in your testimony, you stated that you were in such a shock during tonight's events that you couldn't even speak. This is a clear contradiction.
Objection!
What is the meaning of this, defender? Can you really claim to trust this sham of a witness and his sham of a testimony?
Objection!
That man's character is beside the point. His testimony is anything but a sham. As he watched the flames erupt, his attention was drawn to a voice behind him, which in turn made him fall over. He heard a woman's voice calling his name, a very concrete reason and reason enough to believe his testimony.
Objection!
If it is as you say, then it's plain why you feel this witness is somehow responsible. That's right, why me? People barely hear me when I'm out selling my flowers. That's how soft my voice is. And besides, there was another woman at the scene, wasn't there? Me? What are you getting at, young lady? Do you honestly think a woman my age would be out at late at night in the forest with flirt without questionable men? Besides, I didn't even know this pathetic man's name. How could I even call up to him? Neither did I. And even if I did know his name, do you really think he's the kind of guy any self-respecting girl would want? They are just destroying poor Emir here. Come on, ladies, I'm standing right here, you know. As I was saying, the only person this guy could have heard from behind him was you, Miss Kira. The defense wishes to present evidence to prove this claim. To accuse a witness like this young lady here, why, this is simply unheard of. I must warn you, defender, if you cannot prove your accusation to this court, you will see the underside of my gable. Show us the evidence proving this young lady was the one who called out to this man at the time of the crime. It's clearly the area map. Because you can clearly see her as the only one behind Emir.
Take that!
Kira, this is fucked up. She's literally okay with another girl burning at the stake for this. Pretty much. Take a look at this and you'll have your answer. This is the crime scene sketch. You can see the position of each witnesses during the crime. The only person that could possibly have heard from behind him was none other than Miss Kira.
Objection!
Listen here, Mr. Blue Knight. I will only tell you this one more time. A sham of a witness yields only a sham of a testimony. That is all there is to it. Did you in fact see this flower girl's face? You know, now that you mentioned it, seeing as I fallen down and all, I don't think I saw her face. Okay, but you heard her voice, right? Let me think. The voice came out of nowhere, and it was kind of high-pitched, and I guess it kind of sounded like her. But I can't say whether or not it was this girl's voice. Then there you have it, Sir Blue Knight. Such a pity. Huh? My lord, it is clear that the defense's claim is nothing but a pointless waste of the court's time. I recommend you deliver unto them a penalty befitting of such behavior. Indeed, Inquisitor. Ready yourself, defender. What was that laughter? Pardon me, my lord. It looks like you finally arrived at the decision. That means this has nothing to do with me. Isn't that right, Inquisitor Barham? What are you saying? I'm saying that it's time for me to stop peddling testimonies and get back to peddling flowers. I mean, look at all these flowers left over. It's going to take until sunrise to sell them all if I stay here any longer. Or maybe, my lord, you and the rest of the court will be interested in buying my entire stock of flowers to help a girl out? No, I don't think. I mean... Then it's settled. Now if you excuse me, my apologies for the interruption. Understood. The court will dismiss the witness. Well, Miss Kira, it would seem you are beginning to show the court your true colors. Oh? Whatever do you mean? Okay then, everyone. It looks like that's that.
Hold it!
Wait, you can't leave yet. This cross-examination isn't over. Now that's funny. You say it isn't over, and yet the rest of the court seems to think otherwise. Isn't that right, Inquisitor Barham? The Inquisition maintains that the real witch is the accused Spella Cantavella. This girl is nothing more than a witness, and as such, the court cannot force her to stay against her will. This is bad. If they let her walk out now... Nick, do you think she could be... I swear this series loves creating the most evil female characters. The real witch? You really like throwing around accusations, don't you, Sir Defender? Let me spell it out for you one last time so you can even you can understand. I didn't know this man's name at all before today. I still don't remember it. So, how could I even call out to him? Do you get it now? Now then, until we meet again. Don't forget to buy some flowers on your way home, everyone.
Hold it.
One moment, please, Miss Kira. Layton theme playing. You know what that means. Someone's getting cooked. Is there something else you wanted? You don't seem to realize what you just let slip. What are you talking about? This man testified that he heard his name called at the crime scene. However, you had no knowledge of his name at the time, is that correct? Layton is really evoking Columbo here with the one more thing. That's right, this world is just imagining things. Benta, welcome to the stream, my friend. Like I said, I already forgotten his name even though he just told us earlier. There is just one problem, Miss Kira. Namely, what the voice you heard tonight was actually saying. Huh? What do you mean? In case you don't know where this is going. Dimir, Emir. Dimir, Emir. My lord, I'm still here, you know. You're saying that what this man heard tonight wasn't a name, but rather something else entirely? Indeed I am, Inquisitor Barnham. Something else. Uh-huh. There's only one other thing it could be. It's a stretch, but the possibility is there. That's right, Mr. Wright. That single possibility is the key to solving this mystery. Is the defense ready to present its evidence to the court? This is ridiculous. I demand you let me go this instant. Witness, what you are being accused of is not to be taken lightly. You will not leave this courtroom so long as there's any reasonable doubt remains. Defender, you might present your evidence. Show the court what the voice this man heard tonight was really saying. And there it is.
Take that!
Excuse me, mister. Sorry, what's your name again? You've got a name that no one seems to be able to remember for some reason. Hey, it's Emir. My name's Emir, darn it. How many times I gotta say it? Somebody is getting fucking dead. No matter the number of times you say it, you do not look like an Emir. Again, I only remember my lost loyal customers' names, and he doesn't look like he could afford even a single daisy. Come on, guys, stop kicking a guy when she's down. Mr. Emir, what I hear tonight at the crime scene was not your name. Your name just happens to sound exactly like a certain other name. Another name? The answer is right here in this tome. I'm talking about Amir. Amir? What he actually heard at the time wasn't his own name. It was the name of a magical incantation. What the? Mrs. Kira, have you forgotten what you said just a few minutes ago? You could clearly stated that you didn't know this man's name.
Objection!
Sir Blue Knight, let me get this straight. You're saying that the Amir heard by the witness was actually said by this flower girl, and that it was not his name at all, but rather the incantation of the magic spell. A mere miscalculation, Miss Kira. The defense proposes the following. The true criminal, this supposed witch, is not the defendant, Miss Espela Cantavella, but instead the witness who has heard uttering the magic incantation, Mrs. Kira. She's our witch. You used magic to vanish from the scene and tried to frame Miss Cantavella instead. No! What just happened? Is that girl Espela really not the witch? Unbelievable! I've never heard anything like this. Inquisitor Barnham. Have those two really defeated Inquisitor Barnham?
Objection!
An impressive display, Sir Blue Knight. It would seem you have finally managed to hone your blade. However, I've laid that blade's edge is already beginning to dull. What do you mean? I am referring to a contradiction, naturally. Hey, that's my line. My lord, the Inquisition would like to set the record straight regarding what transpired this evening. Putting that song in the background makes it all better. Very well, Inquisitor Barnham. Sir Blue Knight, you claim the following. At the scene of the crime, the accused Espela Cantavella was surrounded by the two rogues. Then, in order to frame the accused as a witch, Miss Kira cast the spell Demir and made herself vanish. She then moved in closer to the victims, at which point she cast Gnazed, discussing the incident seen by our witnesses tonight. Indeed, that does seem to be the claim. The problem is what happened next. There is a contradiction in the defense's account of Miss Kira's movements. A contradiction in her movements? Allow me to continue. The witnesses have stated that they each ventured out towards the crime scene. Which is when Kira, the witch, made her way to this point while still invisible. When she arrived at said spot, she then cast Amir to reappear to join the other witnesses. And there you have it. That is accurate, isn't it, Sir Blue Knight? That is correct. Then Amir heard her call his name. Well then, I have but one question that I would like to you to answer. Why would a witch need to do such a thing? What do you mean? Suppose Miss Kira were a witch, surely she would not have made a conscious decision to reappear when she did. One would imagine she would remain hidden and flee of the crime scene. Quite right. That's what I would do if I was a witch. Given that point, there would be having no viable reason for her to recite the incantation. In other words, it is inconceivable that the flower seller Miss Kira could be the witch. What? That is true, but she may have shown up once again to be considered a witness. So, to completely shift the blame from herself and cover her tracks. If she's considered a witness, there's less of a chance of her being suspected as the witch who actually did it. Because the other witnesses will have mentioned, oh, she was just there. Inquisitor Warren just turned this entire trial around. Just what I expect from Labyrinthia's Sword of Justice. Oh. Okay.
That's right! You all heard it! It's just as Inquisitor Barnum said!
Oh my god.
Me? A witch? The idea is laughable!
Not good. She's completely bounced back onto her feet. Oh, we were so close too. I can't believe Inquisitor Barham. Can't he see it? You just have to take a good look at her. It's obvious that she's the real witch here. Remember, Mr. Wright, at times like this, a cool head will prevail. Mr. Layton. I'm sure you have had to fight your way out of circumstances such as this many times before. This situation is no different. As a defense attorney, what would you usually do in such a time? What would I usually do? Of course. There's only one thing that can get me out of the situation like this. I got to flip this case on its head and think outside the box. It would seem the defense has nothing further to add. Why, of course, that's because everyone knows the truth. They know that girl right there is the real witch. That settles it then. Go ahead and deliver your verdict, my lord.
Objection!
The situation is exactly as you described, Inquisitor Barnum. It really doesn't make much sense for the witch to have used a mirror. Regardless, the defense still maintains that Miss Kira did utter the incantation and make herself reappear. Now, the question is, for what reason? If she really didn't have to use that spell, then why did she use it in the first place? If I can find the answer to that question, then this entire case will start to unravel. Most fascinating. Very well, allow us to hear this theory of yours. Tell the court why it was necessary for the witch to appear at the crime scene. Well, we're still in the game. Once you eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the true. The reason Miss Kira reappeared at the crime scene was to cover up her crime. I can't think of any other possibility. This has to be the answer. Isn't it obvious? She was trying to cover up her own crime. Oh, is that right? Tell me, why would she do that? Well, just give me a minute, I'm getting to that part. That will not be necessary, Sir Blue Knight. Huh? Think about it. What would she have to hide? If not, one could have seen her to begin with. You heard the good Inquisitor. No matter how you look at it, there is no reason for me to reappear, assuming I was the criminal, that is.
Objection!
Pardon the interruption, but that's not necessarily the case. Mr. Layton, Oh, look at that face. Explain yourself, Sir Top Hat. You have stated that Miss Kira had no reason to reappear. However, the situation changed and it became necessary for her to show herself. Isn't that right, Miss Kira? Huh? What are you talking about? I have no idea what you mean. It would seem the defense must clarify their argument with evidence. Mr. Wright, I believe that Miss Kira did not intend to reveal herself at the crime scene. Rather, that something occurred which forced this young lady to make herself reappear. And I do believe I know what that is. And it's right here. Kira has poor eyesight and worse glasses, but she lost them a few days before the incident. Marvelous. What was so important that she had to reappear and risk being spotted? Defender, tell the court, why do it have been necessary for the witch to appear at the crime scene? I got you right where I wanted. Kira really should have taken the deal for the Shinigami eyes, that is true. That does not work, Kira. There is no way out of this. You are done.
Take that!
Miss Kira, you usually wear glasses, is that correct? Huh? It's like I already told you, I lost my glasses a few days ago. Are you absolutely sure about that? Or did you not in fact lost them tonight, during the crime? Of course not! Perhaps you accidentally dropped them while you were committing the crime. Then, as you were attempting to make your escape, you noticed they were gone. Therefore, you made yourself reappear in order to search for your missing glasses. No!
Objection!
How absurd! Such baseless conjecture! What you propose is fundamentally flawed. What do you mean? Let us assume hypothetically that the witch did in fact drop this evidence. That does not explain what purpose it would serve for her to make herself reappear. It would still make more sense for her to escape under the cover of darkness.
Objection!
Unfortunately, Inquisitor Barham, such a plan was simply not possible. What? Causes anything the caster touches to vanish from sight, including the glasses. She had to undo the spell to even find these things. Mr. Wright, do you understand what I'm suggesting? Yes, she means the reason Miss Kira made herself reappear at the scene of the crime. Okay, this is it. Defender, enlighten us. Why did the witness feel the need to make herself reappear? She couldn't find her glasses. The answer is simple, Your Honor. She couldn't find her glasses. She couldn't not find them? If you have noticed, she's still not wearing her glasses right now.
Objection!
Hold on a moment, Sir Blue Knight. What does this have to do with anything? That's right, that doesn't change a single thing.
Objection!
That's where you're wrong. In fact, it changes quite a bit. Tonight, the two victims were engulfed by flames, courtesy of a magic spell. That very instant, 4 witnesses saw the flames erupt at the scene. It was at that point that something you didn't expect occurred. You suddenly lost your glasses. That's right. You were scared that if your glasses were discovered at the scene of the crime, you will be suspected of being a witch.
Objection!
What foolishness! Even if her glasses were found, she could simply have explained that she dropped them in their days before the crime happened.
Objection!
I'm afraid that is not a possibility, Inquisitor Varham. Somebody is getting beyond fucked. Like ultra fucked. What did you say? If you recall, it had been raining quite heavily at the crime scene beforehand. Had she stated that she dropped her glasses before the crime, then naturally, one would expect the glasses to be soaked in water and covered in mud. However, the rain had already stopped at the time of the crime itself was committed. In other words, one look at the pair of clean, dry glasses would reveal she dropped them later, thus implicating her as the witch. No! I should have known. I was perfect in my rainfall rending technique in the forest. And not once during the rainfall did I see that flower maiden traveling along the nearby path. That's not all. In order to frame Miss Cantabella as the witch, you needed to leave this witch's scepter behind at the scene of the crime. I see. That would be the most definitive evidence that she's the witch. The objective here was to have somebody else discover the stuff at the scene. Alas, that person was I. However, no doubt you came to realize that one can deduce which spells were used simply by examining the magic gems on the scepter. In this case, one can see that the witch must have used the mirror to vanish from sight and make her escape. That's why, Miss Kira, you were left with no option to reappear at the crime scene. That was the only way for you to avoid suspicion if someone were to discover your glasses at the crime scene. By reappearing, you'll be able to explain that you simply dropped your glasses when you rushed to see what happened. What do you have to say to that, Miss Kira? That is a wallpaper.
You know, I've let you both ramble on and on, but playtime is over. So that's it, then? I'm a witch because I dropped my glasses? I must have said it how many times now? I lost my glasses days ago. Were you even listening? I'll say it again. Over 1,000,000 times! I lost my glasses, I lost my glasses! Do you like evidence, Sir Defender? Do you love proof, Sir Top Hat? Then prove I dropped my glasses at the crime scene. Ha! You can't prove it! In other words, you lose.
That is correct. Proving such a thing would indeed be impossible. To prove that the witness dropped her glasses at the crime scene. What do you say, Inquisitor Warham? This is indeed a question of proof, my lord. These glasses have been missing from the very beginning. The Knights of the Inquisition found no traces of these glasses anywhere near the crime scene. Therefore, this witness cannot in any way be accused of being a witch. You heard the man. But we were so close. That girl is a witch. Can't anyone else see that? What should we do, Professor? Layton, you see that smile. You see that smile and it's Layton time. Nice. Well, it would seem the young lady has finished what she had saying. Wouldn't you agree, Miss Wright? Mr. Wright? Yes. It certainly looks that way, Mr. Layton. They know she's smart. What the? What's with that face? Do you find something funny here? It is as you said, Inquisitor Barham. It's plain. The defense raises just one further question. Where were you unable to find your glasses? What do you mean? You must have searched the area quite thoroughly looking for them. And yet, even though the knights have been unable to locate those glasses. Did you ever wonder why? Yes, that has become quite the mystery. Surely they must be around somewhere. The glasses were lost to the wolves. That is the only explanation. There is still one remaining place that you have not searched tonight. Huh? What did you say? The glasses were supposedly not found at the crime scene, leaving only one other possible place. What is it? What is this, you two? How about you, Sir Blue Knight? Try your blade and reveal to the court where the glasses are supposedly hiding. It looks like I've somehow managed to make it through my first witch trial. It all comes down to this, the final piece of evidence. Time to clear this case once and for all. I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Mr. Ryan. The piece of evidence pointing to the one place not searched tonight is... Maybe there's a reason why Mary brought the bucket to the farm. Not just because the milk was precious. I won't say it. Sume, can you pull a rabbit out of your hand? No, but it will reveal a really pretty ribbon. Do you like it?
Take that!
Tonight, there was one thing that was carried away from the crime scene right under everyone's noses. Carried away? I am speaking, of course, about this. That's the milk bucket that disappeared from the crime scene. Thus far, the defense's claim that the glasses were dropped at the crime scene had been regarded as mere speculation. However, if Miss Kira were to find... Miss Kira, we find your glasses within the contents of this milk bucket. Then our mere speculation will certainly become fact. What manner of witchery? What are you talking about? You're crazy. Just crazy. No way could my glasses be inside that stupid bucket. It's just impossible. How do we quit the speculation and actually find out? What do you say, Inquisitor Barham? That's just all a waste of the court's time. Don't listen to them. Don't. This mandated that the Knights of the Inquisition investigate any and all possibilities during the course of a trial. My lord, the Inquisition requests that this milk bucket be searched immediately. Very well. Oh! What? Marvelous. Got him. Miss Kira, as you can see, your glasses have been found inside this milk bucket. The truth is out. Nothing you can say can change that now. Which leads us to the next question. Specifically a quick question of when. When did you drop your glasses into the milk bucket? What? Why is this happening? This whole thing is ridiculous. The answer is obvious, isn't it? I dropped them afterwards, after I ran over to see the fire. I took a tiny peek inside the milk bucket. That's when they fell in.
Objection!
Don't be stupid, child. Snow and I were at this scene first. We made sure that the milk bucket before anyone else could get into the grubby little hands on it. We weren't going to let a single soul get anywhere near that sweet creamy bucket of deliciousness. You can bet my farm on that. You're turning on her indeed. Everything's falling into place now. This is exciting. This is very, very exciting. I gotta say, this is... It was a rough introduction, but this is... Oh! This feeling is pretty nice. I might have to play the other Finite Ride games if they're all like this. Each of these four witnesses have stated they heard the spell Ignace being cast at the time of the incident. According to the Grand Grimoire, Ignace summons a circle of flame within 1 meter radius of the caster. In other words, the real witch must have been Mrs. Cantavella's side at the time of the incident. Indeed, that is when the glasses fell into the milk bucket. Therefore, the only one logical conclusion, only one person would who could be the true witch.
Miss Kira, you are the real witch.
Oh my god! Okay, that took me... Oh my god, that crack sound. It's just... Jesus. Sweet Panda Christ, what was that? What a very strange trial this has been. You can say that again, Judge. You can say that again, my lord. From the very beginning, we all have paid witness to the most unusual set of circumstances. A baker turned defender, a surprise extra witness, and now a not guilty verdict for the accused. Never have I seen such a spectacle. This is cool. Love seeing Nick and Layton working together like this. It is very interesting. Two brilliant... I would say it is the... how stubborn Nick is in wanting to get this done, and Layton's brilliance working together. Because Layton is not giving Nick the answers. He's guiding him to the answers. He's giving him the pointers. Because Layton believes that everybody has the potential to solve puzzles, and every puzzle has an answer. The girl inside the cage. You mean she's the real witch? So that means we're gonna see her be burned alive? But what about the Spelacantabella girl?
Miss Kira. Tell us why. Why were you trying to frame Miss Cantabella?
Voice acting, I get to have a drink.
You could easily have escaped the crime scene without a trace. There was no reason to frame anyone. This crime was a result of nothing but your overwhelming ill intent.
To frame a person as a witch is to condemn that person to death by fire. Surely you must know this. So why Spelacantabella?
Do you have any idea what it feels like to be a witch?
What it feels like?
I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for these powers, but I have them. And now here I am, begging for my life. I was living such a peaceful life until now. Selling flowers, getting scolded by my boss for not selling enough of them. That's why I was trying to put an end to these trials once and for all.
Put an end to the trials.
You all know what I mean! The one condition written in the story that will end these witch trials!
When the great witch Bezella has been put to the flames and vanquished from this world, these trials will come to an end.
This was my chance to finally end all this. At least that's what I thought. The sun had begun to set on that lonely forest path, and there wasn't a soul in sight. I always carried my hidden Telea Magica with me in case of a moment like this. I used my magic to expose that girl for what she really is. If I had been successful, then all these trials would finally end and I could go on living my peaceful life.
What? What are you saying? Am I hearing this correctly? Are you actually accusing Spelacantabella?
Why do you think no one has ever seen the legendary Great Witch? It's because she's been hidden in our midst the entire time. She's protected. She's hidden from us. It's all part of the story.
Part of the story?
Objection! That's enough! Speak no more. A witch's existence cannot be justified.
No, please! I know you've all noticed it too! You could end this! All of this! That girl! It's all because of that girl! I beg you! Please! Please release me! Knights of the Court! Isn't it your duty to protect the people of this town? Give me another chance!
That is where you're wrong. Tis indeed a knight's duty to protect. We are impelled to protect the citizens of Labyrinthia against you and your ilk. The reason you were offered my protection until now was because your guilt was uncertain.
Kira, you committed double homicide. You killed 2 people, indeed.
There was the possibility that you were not a witch. The circumstances were such that it seemed another was guilty. That possibility has since disappeared, and your innocence along with it. You now find yourself at the other end of my sword.
No!
Vile witch, enemy of Labyrinthia, may the fires purge you from this land!
Hold it! Please, wait! Stop! Please, just stop this!
Spella!
If it means putting an end to these horrible trials... Let me take her place. Let me be Bezella. Send me to the flames. But please, if it would save her life...
This trial has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that this flower seller, Kira, is a witch. And according to the law, all those found to be witches will be executed.
Did he say executed? He can't mean...
This is most unsettling.
Bailiff, ready the fire.
Oh no. No, no.
No!
No! Don't do this!
Listen to me! Don't let her fool you! Isabella is the Great Witch! Hear me! There's no time to waste! She's Bezella! Take her! And then these witch trials will be no more! The witch trials will end!
And she's gone. So far, we've always managed to pull off a win and get a not guilty verdict, but winning has never felt this depressing. Spella, are you alright? Yes, I just wanted to thank all of you. You all came to my rescue yet again. Well, yeah, of course we did. Hold on a second, Spella. What did you say just now? What a trial indeed. You all came to my rescue yet again, don't you mean? That's very good, I get going for now, but thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure, Jasmine. Please take care, and I hope to see you in the next one. I suppose that makes this the second time we've met, and the second time all of you have helped me. Mr. Wright, am I to infer that you and Spella have met before? Yeah, it seems that way. You too, Mr. Layton? Perhaps it would be best if we briefed each other on what has transpired. Okay, what should we discuss? Spella paid us a visit in London. She had in her possession a letter from an old acquaintance of mine. Is that right? Mr. Accidenti helped drive Spella straight out of Labyrinthia. You both kept me safe from the witches that were chasing me. Wait, did you say witches? So they appear in London too? Regrettably, I am unable to say that our protection was absolute. When we saw you last, it seemed you'd managed to escape, courtesy of that passing freighter. Oh yeah, that thing. What happened to you after that, Spella? I rode the ship along the river for a while, before arriving at a nearby port. And then... that's when I met Mr. Wright and Maya. Okay, what should we discuss? I didn't know where the ship would end up. I felt very lonely out there. Please accept my sincerest apologies. I'm afraid there was nothing else I could have done to prevent it. No, please don't blame yourself, Mr. Layton. I just didn't know what to do, so I tried to look for something, anything on the ship that might help me. Boy, you sure found something, right? Or rather, someone. Ran into the master thief working as part of the ship's crew. Yes, that's right. Did you say master thief? Crikey, that's amazing. I wouldn't say that it was amazing. After that, I was taken to court and that's when Mr. Wright helped me. I see. Then perhaps, somewhere deep within your mind must have existed a memory of the previous trial of Mr. Wright. Hence why you thought to seek out his help when you found yourself in such an unfortunate situation this evening. That makes sense. After all, Nick did make a legal history that day in jolly old England. Did you say he made history? Wow, that's incredible, right, Professor? I wouldn't say exactly made history. But then, after that, I was never able to find my way back to the Professor. Even after I went through the pains of finding that clue, it ended up being taken away from me. A clue, you say? Yes, the tag that was hanging around the neck of that sweet little stuffed toy. The tag was a clue? A clue for what? I had a lot of time to think while I was on the ship, and I thought about a lot of things, like how to try to find a way back once the ship arrived at its destination, things like that. Find a way back? I went back to Mr. Layton and Luke. They were the only ones who I knew I could depend on to help me. The pleasure was ours, Espella. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't remember the name of the town where they lived. Huh? You mean London, Espella? Oh, that's it. London. That's what was written in Carmen's letter to Mr. Layton. The blue teddy bear I found in that room was wearing a tag around its neck. Sorry, Espella, but PC Butcher looks nothing like a teddy bear. On that tag, in very small letters, was written London. I recognized the name of the town. I thought it might be an address. That's because that stuffed toy was used in a special promotion run by the London Metropolitan Police. Oh, that's right. Espella, you must have known that address was super important, so that's why you kept the tag, right? That way, you could meet with Layton and Luke again. I just felt so lonely and helpless. I wonder though, who do you think really did it? Hit Olivia over the head with a pipe, I mean. What's this? Oh yeah, I guess we never did find out who the real culprit was. I do believe that might have some connections to the group of witches. What? You mean the witches that were chasing us through London? Indeed. It could be that they noticed your escape on that ship and managed to infiltrate their own way aboard. Could it be? So you're saying there was some big scary witch lurking around the inside of that cargo hold? I'm afraid there is a rather high possibility that that was the case. These witches were intent on seeing you through back to Labyrinthia no matter what. However, in order to do so, they had to make certain you did not become entangled in any situation that may stall your capture. In other words, the situation with Miss Aldenti, you mean? Precisely. They must have knocked that crew member unconscious and attempt to recapture Espella before the police could arrive. However, their plan was clearly foiled given that you ended up in court regardless. And that's when she became a client. I just can't clearly remember anything that happened then. Do you think there's a possibility that someone was pulling Espella's strings through the entire trial? Maybe you're right. There was something a little strange about Espella at the time. Mr. Wright, Espella was introduced to you at the time as a schoolgirl, is that correct? Yes. She would have had no knowledge of the world outside of Labyrinthia. That being the case, having her stand in the English courtroom as she would pose a serious problem, meaning that someone must have been attempting to cover up Espella's identity. What? But Professor, could someone really do that? That they could look, indeed. And it is as I suspect. I believe our adversaries might be far more powerful than we originally thought. Just exactly who or what are we dealing with here? Hey guys, let's head back to the bakery for now. I bet the boss is waiting for us with one heck of a pastry feast. Oh, actually I can't go home just yet. Huh? You can't? Aww. Well, there are still a couple of legal procedures to be taken care of before I can go home. Please, you'll go ahead without me. Is that so? Very well. I really must thank you all. Thank you so much for everything. Alright then, Spella. We'll catch you later. Yes. Farewell for now. Mr. Wright, please allow me the pleasure of a proper introduction. My name is Herschel Layton. I'm a professor of archaeology in London. A professor? Oh. Well, my name is Phoenix Wright. I am an attorney. As I suspected, you were no ordinary baker after all, Mr. Wright. Yeah, I thought it was pretty weird myself, to be honest. I mean, I really did believe I've been a baker all my life. But the more everyone kept saying it, the less sure I was that it was actually true. Just where did that memory come from anyway? Hey, Professor, if Mr. Wright is an attorney, that must mean he's as smart as you, right? Excuse me for a second. Hold on, just a little second.
Professor, if Mr. Wright is an attorney, that must mean he's as smart as you, right?
I'm afraid I can't really say, Luke, because a true gentleman would never call someone a dumbass.
Wait, what?
There you go. Sorry, I needed to get that out of my system. I'm afraid I can't really say Luke. Because a true gentleman would never call someone else a dumbass. But behind every ace attorney there's an even smarter, not to mention beautiful, witty, and utterly amazing ace assistant. I think you almost forgot humble. My name is Luke Triton. I'm the professor's apprentice. I'm Maya Fey, and Nick here is my apprentice. Isn't that right, Nicky boy? Nicky boy? Hey, wait, why am I your apprentice? Anyway, we should all head back to the bakery. Let's get a move on. I'm sure Spella will be back before we know it. I would not get your hopes up about that, Sir Blue Knight. Inquisitor Barnham, most impressive work tonight. It's a shame you have had such an ability hidden until now. Trust me, Nick's lawyer abilities beat the pants of his baking abilities any day of the week. Okay, moving on. What do you mean by that, Inquisitor? Why can't the Spella go home? New charges have been brought up against Mr. Spella Cantabella. What? No way, that can't be right. You have realized it, haven't you? She is being charged under the suspicion of being the Great Witch Bezala. She's what? How can that be? Am I to assume that charge is based purely on Mrs. Kira's accusation? It was not I who made the decision. Huh? Regardless, the girl will return to court at the appointed time for further trial. Until then, I am to seek out any and all evidence pertaining to the Great Witch. Pardon me, Inquisitor. When exactly is this appointed time? The investigation into allegation will conclude on the day of the Storyteller's Nets Parade. That would be 2 weeks from now. Following our investigation into the matter, the trial of the Great Witch shall proceed. What the? It would appear the girl has been withholding a dark secret from you all. Espella Cantavella's questioning is set to begin shortly. That means visiting hours are over. I recommend you leave immediately. Espella? Legendary Great Witch Bezella. The story that dictates the fate of an entire town. I know a so-called Great Witch named Bezella. Most intriguing. It would seem to be up to us to uncover the answers to this mystery. But how are we supposed to manage it all in 2 weeks? Where we're gonna find all any evidence? You know, I was thinking, how do you address a Great Witch? Healthy Thee? Or magnificent magical one? Or maybe just what's up, witchy baby? What difference would it make? She's called the Great Witch. That's not someone I've ever want to meet. I believe I thought of a solution to our problem. It's actually rather simple. Professor Layton? Allow me to explain, Mr. Wright. When Layton says, allow me to explain, this is when your mind is about to be blown. The only way we might be able to solve the mysteries of this town and its residents is if we join forces. He's right. We've come this far, there's no way we're just going to give up on Espella. Okay, I'm on board. I look forward to teaming up with you, Professor. Me too, Luke. Me too, Maya. Now then, shall we press on? This marks the beginning of our own story. One dictated by ourselves and written by our own hands. What a way to finish the chapter. With Layton and Nick finally joining forces officially. I do want to save. Chapter 3, The Great Witch, which we will tackle obviously next time, but let's get the intro going. The Great Witch Bezella, the legendary witch from ancient times. She is the source of all evil and the one who gives rise to all the other witches. As long as the Great Witch Bezella is alive, there will always be witches in Labyrinthia. Apparently, that is commonly held belief. Therefore, if Bezella were to be put on the fire, there would be no further need for these trials. In other words, no Bezella, no witches. Got it? No witches. And with that witty comment, it's how we end the stream, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for another adventure through Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. It's been a pleasure to stream for you all, obviously, and I hope everyone here has a fantastic rest of your day. For it's been a pleasure to stream for you all as usual. Certifiably Gaming, awesome stream. Thank you all for watching. It's been a pleasure. But yeah, it seems like things are gonna get pretty heated in the next streams as the story is picking up the pace. So, thank you for watching, everybody. Please take care. Thanks for stream Yellow. Thank you for watching, Kosen. Thank you to the patrons for their monthly support, of course. And I truly hope to see you in the next one, everybody. And I'll see you, Space Cowboy. Bang.
I was cooling in the motel for a minute. Loved ones that I won't tell how I'm living. Now I'm in the woods, trailer parks. Passing through in many minions. IRL is lame cause I'm broke in Virginia. Surrounded by the slimy cold-blooded they amphibians. I ain't dark as I was, hit the amphibian. Pulled a beef katana out in the slaughterhouse. I was hired cause you talking loud, starting drumming out. I got fired cause I understood what they talking about. So I fight them cause I understand all they charming out. In the woods, smoking on some woods, gave me feeling good, but it's great. Can't escape my fate, would it if I could? On some LBs, for these LBs I had to hustle. Desperately trying to find paradise through this desperate struggle. Wanna kill, let me killed, it's the way that I'm living. Throw my life away, but I had to hide my feelings. Trying to stack LBs straight to the ceiling.